Yeah, I completely agree. Like a guy who served in the army, anywhere, whatever you want, just you can have it.
Yeah.
Well, Mojo, one thing we do on the show is have more money now. Is we talk about guys who've had second acts, and you've had an incredible second act. I love guys who've done things like you've done. Tell us about what you're doing right now. I'll let you tell it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Paragon Talent Group, that is the name of the game right now. The concept was pretty simple. Halfway through the wrestling career, always want to have a backup plan and what's going to happen, especially you're on TV, you're off TV. They love you this day. Maybe they don't love you tomorrow. You never know how quickly these things are going to turn around. So always important to have, a plan B and what's going to come next. So, coming from football and seeing all the representation that was there in that industry and seeing how little it was in the pro wrestling world, I was like, I can probably combine my business background from what I've been able to pick up along the way. And of course, just being able to relate to the talent from having been one for 10 years. And I knew like as soon as I finished up, like Paragon was going to be the thing that I wanted to start. And it was kind of an easy transition, as probably as easy as it could be for someone who got COVID and had their career cut out from under them overnight.
Right. And I've worked with you with your talent group. It's unbelievable. I mean, you're incredibly efficient. Everything, all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. I mean, everything is done. It's just as professional as it could be. I was blown away with how good it was and how everything was taken care of when I worked with you. Where did you learn this, and how did you get started?
The process of getting started was pretty easy. My first phone call was to one of my best friends, Steve K, who co-founded the company with me. Someone that I had known, I don't know, for the majority of my wrestling career. Great guy, great business mind, huge wrestling fan. So, we were able to come together and kind of yin and yang this thing and pick up on each other's shortcomings and just, capitalize on each other's strengths and all. Built a pretty good team around us. So that's really helped us stay as efficient as possible. Because we did pay deals for over 500 talent last year. So it gets absolutely crazy, from doing their contract negotiations to their appearances, their brand deal sponsorships, even visas for the international talent. So there's always a lot going on. So keeping the right team around you to help make sure nothing slips through the cracks is imperative. But honestly, the business kind of started itself. It was just sitting there waiting for, the right team to come in place and pick it up. I mean, you guys know better than me the value of the talent and what they have to offer, the pro wrestling landscape being one that has just been so largely untouched. If you're with WWE, they obviously take care of everything for you. I do mean just about everything, as you both well know. But afterwards, you're out there, you're fending for yourself. Wrestlers don't really trust anybody. The outside world doesn't really understand the space or know how to market the talent. So I thought that was a good place where I could step in and be that conduit there. And yeah, it just worked out.
Was there any nervousness as far as you open up the door and put the placard on the door and figuratively, and I hope somebody comes? Was there any nervousness?
No, because I think I had was able to kind of set up enough things for the talent while I was still wrestling as one of them, whether it's free hotels on the road or, hey, this place will come pay us to come grab a bite or, whatever it was. I think most of the talent were kind of familiar with me being able to create opportunity in that capacity. So we also started the company thinking we were only going to start with maybe 10 talent or so. We didn't want to come here and chop everybody from the start, especially while we were trying to piece together some of this and learn what we would be good at and where, our niche was per se. But yeah, then once we got going and we were able to, get some work for some people, as you know, especially in pro wrestling, word gets around pretty quick within that wrestling world. And, really everyone came calling after that. We had enough case studies and good business done. So it just keeps growing and growing every year. But I would say the nervousness came from starting the company. I think at that point I had vetted it enough and I felt really comfortable about starting it. I think if anything, the nervousness comes, now and even to this day with just trying to make sure I don't let my friends down, because it's not like I'm just picking up clients that I just met or I was just introduced to. Most of our people are people that I've known for, some of them 15 years at this point already. So knowing their families and their children and where some of them may stand financially or what their goals are, you get nervous then. You don't want to screw it up, and you want to make sure you're always doing right by your team.
What was the corporate mindset of getting started? And I don't need to know numbers or anything like that, nothing personal like that. But as far as your runway, a lot of problems that people have when they start up a business is they don't capitalize the business well enough. So when you're putting that money in there and thinking, okay, but we need to make it in 3 months or 6 months. Was there a time frame there that you're thinking we have to be at this, or this when you get started?
No, not at all. And I think that I typically try to operate a little bit more low risk when it comes to these things. So that was one of the most appealing parts of starting this business. And again, these were ideas that I was fleshing out for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years of my WWE career. So I was able to really put some thought into it. But, there really was no risk. We didn't have expenses in the start. It was my phone bill, because everything that was being done was on my phone. It was on Steve's phone. I mean, we incurred all of our own expenses. So if I spent money trying to land new accounts, I just paid for that out of my pocket. So because I was having to really use my own capital to pay for these things, I was very cognizant of how much I was spending, and I wasn't being frivolous, wasting any of my money, anything like that. But, really it was just super simple. It was, we didn't really have to spend that much. Maybe, creating some materials. Most of it was just putting forth our time, and then potentially, I suppose, if I'm thinking about it now, the opportunity cost of, what this is costing me if I would have went a different route. Maybe if I would have joined another agency where I had a lot of support and maybe could get, off and running a little faster. If I would have focused on my own individual career and, tried to keep wrestling or explore other forms of entertainment or things of that point. I mean, if you're factoring all these elements in, then sure, it was a little bit maybe more costly than maybe even I was aware of at the time. But at least from a hard cost standpoint, it was pretty limited from the start.
SaveWithConrad.com.
Yeah, I'm Justin Bruckman from Knoxville, Tennessee. What got me to Save with Conrad was the 83 Weeks podcast. I really wasn't thinking about getting rid of any debt. I just wanted to cash out some equity in the house to do remodeling. But I did both, so that was pretty awesome. Worked out great. Redid the foyer, built pantry space, and there was little odds and ends when I first bought the house that I wanted to take care of, and we were able to take care of it. So, paid off 2 cars and some credit card debt. So probably all in all, getting $30,000 in that, and then I got some $30,000 more equity out of the house, and still plenty of equity left over. So payment's good. I lowered my interest rate. I'm in a much better spot than I was. Super easy. Everybody was great. Very, very awesome people. Francis and Steve were great to work with. They're awesome. Made it for a very easy, seamless experience. I'd probably say all in all, probably $1,000 a month at least. I lowered my interest rate, especially the way the interest rates are right now, which is, that's amazing. I'm Justin Bruckman from Knoxville, Tennessee. I saved over $1,000 with SaveWithConrad.com, and I did a lot of renovations with that money as well.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.